Welcome to Hunter-Wolff Gallery, and it is Virtual First Friday. Come on in. I want to tell you about some of our featured artists. Benham is here today, and we're going to introduce some of his products and a little bit about him. Tell us a little bit, tell our audience a little bit about your creative process. You work with wood, and you have all kinds of tools, and I understand that you have a studio in your home. So tell us about the process that you go through.
Yeah, so most of my ideas come from the people I meet, places I've been, things I've seen. So I might see a really cool arch on a bridge, and that might become a table leg shape, or the client has a cool idea, and then we'll just build on that until I start to come up with the final idea, and then that's the thing that I build.
Well, we have a table here. Tell us about the style of that.
So the overall design of the live edge table is something that is highly influenced by a former furniture designer, George Nakashima, one of my personal favorites. So it's solid walnut, and this light band here is the sapwood of the tree, and then this is the heartwood, so that sapwood has a little bit lighter color to it.
Okay.
The bottom arch is what's called the Bezier curve, so it comes up, curves down, and then swoops back up again. So the construction of this, I made a tenon on the leg that goes all the way through, so the top is attached to the tenon with these little wedges.
No nails and no screws, correct?
Correct.
Brian, tell our audience about this beautiful mahogany table. It has an unusual finish on the top. This doesn't look like wood.
So there's wood underneath here, and then I silver leafed it with silver leaf, and to get this to follow this curve, I used pinstriping tape like they do in the automotive industry, and ran a pinstripe tape all the way around, and then silver leaf right up to that tape edge. Then to get the color in it is a process of patinaing it with silver potash. So you put the chemical on and let it sit for a little bit. The more chemical you use, the darker it gets. And then if you put it in the sun, it changes it to greens and purple hues and things in there.
It looks like stone.
It really does.
It looks just like stone. It's such a beautiful complement. There's a little bit of a coppery color in here, but it complements the wood beautifully. Gorgeous piece. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is what I'm really interested how you did this part.
So this is a segmented piece. So each one of these angles I had to figure out from the center to the side, and since it's an ellipse, not a perfect circle, each angle and width is different. So when I started out, I just started with a sketch, and then I used a piece of scrap plywood to test cut each piece until I knew they would all fit tightly.
And the other thing, if you could speak about the legs. I love the shape of this.
Each leg I used a template to get the general shape, but then once I got the general shape cut, I used a spoke shave and just shaped it all by hand, and comparing each piece with the next one to make sure they were as close to an exact match as I could get by hand with the spoke shave. And then I carefully scribed this curve to the top and scribed the apron to the back, and then it's glued and pegged with dowels from behind.
Oh wow. No nails and no screws.
No nails, no screws.
Wow, it's gorgeous. That's a beautiful piece. Brian, tell us about your clock collection that we now have in the gallery. You're doing some different types of framing here on these. This looks like a wood frame and some type of a patina, copper patina. Tell us about that process.
Yeah, so the clock started kind of as an experiment that I wanted to start getting more into working different types of metals and patinas and learn a little bit more of that genre. The clock itself is on a silver maple, and then the frame is just an oak frame, but I used a finishing technique called sosojiban, where you burn the wood to get it black. And I've used all kinds of different techniques trying to get a really nice black finish, but most dyes and stains turn purple, have kind of like a purple hue to it, or kind of a weird brown hue to it. So burning the wood actually made the blackest black I've ever been able to figure out.
So that process, give me a little history on that. Where does that come from?
I believe it originally came from Japan, the technique that they developed to preserve wood on the outside. So if you char it, the weather won't destroy it or beat it up. It'll take longer to wear it down.
And since these are indoors, they're going to last forever.
Yeah.
That finish.
And if you're concerned at all about getting char on your hands, since it is an indoor piece, I did seal it in with some shellac, so you won't ever get any black on your hands.
Oh, so normally they want shellac over this process.
Right. A lot of times they would add like maybe a linseed oil or a Danish type oil to it just to soak into the wood and into the char, but if you touch it, you'd still get the black on your hands. So
right.
this is completely sealed in, so
right.
you don't have to worry about that.
Tell our viewers about this coppery color on all of them. They all have a similar background, but there are some differences.
Yeah, so the copper, to get that patina on the copper, I achieved that by a couple of different ways. Mostly with sandblasting at first to get some kind of texture on it so it's not super shiny. And then I came back with a torch and basically heated the copper up as evenly as I could, going back and forth across the field until it started to turn colors. And the hotter it gets, the more purples it comes out. If it's a low temperature, it'll be more of a dark orange. So it's just a little bit of a trial and error to get a nice pattern and know when to, like, oh, okay, I got to start moving the torch or it's getting too purpley, or if you leave the torch there too long, it'll turn just like this weird yellow color or start to melt.
Oh, not good. This one over here has a different pattern. It's a little more like that one, but it has a lot of copper greens in it.
Yeah, so that was achieved with a chemical called cupric nitrate. Once you get the copper hot, it's very reactive, and so cupric is a very acidic type of a chemical, and so it immediately patinas the copper to turn it gray. So something that nature does by itself, if you put a piece of copper out just out in the rain, it'll slowly turn green over several years.
Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate this today. I know our viewers are going to appreciate it. We have some smaller things on some shelves over here I'd like to show our viewers. Not only does Brian make furniture and clocks, more complicated pieces, but we have some really pretty gift things that we'd like to show and share.